Hi, welcome to video 3. And now that we have everything set, that our Django backend is sent and frontend is sent, let's go start to create our custom user. So it's a good practice usually to create a custom user so we can add more personalization on it and add extra functionality. So for this, in the backend, we already create our users. So we are going to start by creating a custom user manager. So for this, we are going to create a new file that we are going to name it manager managers.py. And let's go. The first thing we want to start to import some things. The first going to be the base user manager. Import base user manager. The second thing we are going to import the validators. Import validation error and from Django.core validators import validate email is going to be used to validate our email. And we are also going to import text lazy. Okay, we are going to import get text lazy as underscore, and the get text lazy is no, I don't want this. It's used to allow to make, let's say, some pointers in the names that we are going to create. So Django can actually translate in the language depending where the project is going to be. So let's start to create our custom user manager. We are going to extend from the base user manager. And let's first define a function for our email validator. That's going validator. That's going to tell self and email as input. So we are going to try validate email, and here we pass the input email. And if this don't work, the email is not valid, we are going to throw a validation error. We're going to raise value error. Here this is where used get text lazy. It could be just a string, but using the text laser is a better concept for more robust applications. You must provide a valid email. Okay, next step, we are going to define our create user. So in our create user, what you are going to want is a first name, a last name. After, we also want an email and password. We also are extra fields. So now let's do some validation. First, we are going to check for the first name. If the first name does not exist, we're going to raise a value error. We are going to say users must submit a first name. we're going to do this for the other fields. That's going to be the last name. And here we do the same. Instead of first name, we're going to last name. User has to be last name. And we have to close the parentheses here. And now we're going to check and validate the email. So if email exists, first we are going to normalize that email. Here. And after, we are going to use that function, the email validator, to keep to validate the email. So it's going to be self dot email validator. We pass the email, and that's done. Else, if it's not good, we are going to trace value error, and in that value error, we are going to say base user and email address is required. Okay, and this is done. So now we do, and now we create the user model. Here we are going to pass the first name, that's going to be equal to the first name, last name, that's going also to be equal to the last name, email, in the logic now, and not forgetting the extra fields. Why? Because you're not as yet the extra fields and neither the password that are going to set now. So for the password, you're going to user dot set password. Set password is a function in Django that's going to hash our password into the that's going to put into the database, because for security reasons we don't want the plain text password. So this is a function, it's going to hash a password and for the password to be more secure. Now for the extra fields, you want to set default. Here we have two defaults that we want. This stuff that you are going to be false for normal users, they are not the stuff. And set default, the is super user. It's also going to be false. And now with this grade, we have to save the user in the database, stating it explicitly user dot save. And now we can just return the user. And this is how do we extend the user model or a custom user model. Now we did for the we did for the user. Let's also do the same for the super user. So the easiest way to do this is to copy. Okay. Copy here. And now we just have to edit some information. So here is not create user, it's create super user. So let me see, everything is okay. Okay, and here we don't want this. There it is, we are going to use the create user. That one also not necessary, not after we edit this after. Okay, so for the extra fields, as you can see, they now are going to be true by default because we went our superiors with permissions. So, and also another extra field that we should add, it's the is active. So super user, it's obviously, we want obviously that to be active. So next step, let's do some validation. If extra fields dot get, we are going to grab the super user. Is not true. What we are going to say, we want to raise a value error, and here super users must have is super user equal to true. And we are going to do the same thing for this stuff. We're going to get the stuff super users must have now is stuff equal to true. Okay, this is just to guarantee that fields for the super user are true. Okay, next step. If we don't have a password, we're also going to raise value error. It tells that super users must have password. Done. And now we are going to validate the email. This is base user. We just have to say it's going to be the same code. Instead of base user, we just admin, but it's essentially the same. And you may questions, why did you create the email validator function in here? This is basically to short a little bit of our code because we could add that code directly here, But since you are using in the user and create user and the create super user, we just have to get the function. Okay, next step, you don't need is. You can now actually starting to create the user. So the user going to be equal to self dot create user. And here we pass first name, last name, the email, the password, and the extra fields. Extra fields. Now we just have save the user, say user dot save, and now we return the user. And now that we have created our custom user manager, we can now start to create our models. So for the models, we come here and we want to import some things. Django import models from Django dot contrib dot out dot models. We're going to import our abstract base user and also premix and mixin. So here we also need the text lazy, gen.utils.translation for get text lazy as underscore, and from managers we are going to import what you have created, a custom user manager. So let's start to create our model, or better, to extend our model. We are going to extend from the abstract base use clusters and the permissions mixed twin. So we want to inherit some things that are here for our user. And now what we want, first name is going to be equal to a car field, and it's going to be first name max length 50. I think there is too much first names above 50, only if they are German. Okay, let's put 90 or 100 because it's more rounded to be sure. After last name, going to be equal, not beautiful, it's better. Car field again, so we are going to say here last name, max length, maybe this for the Germans. And next, email. We are going to use our email field, email address, max length 254. It's okay, but here we want unique equal to true. And this is, as we are going to see later, one of the benefits that creating a custom user manager and a custom user is that we can actually set the fields which we want to log in and register in our account. And usually in the base user model of Django, you create a user with a username and a password. But we are in 2023, nobody creates username anymore. Or usually you do the login with email or with Facebook or Google with or out. Here we are going to use the email. So what we want is always the email unique. That's going to be true. Next, we have is stuff. That's going to be a Boolean field. And by we actually don't need name here. And by default, we're going to use false. Here is active. We're going to use another Boolean field. And by default, it's also going to be false. And date join is going to be equal to date time field. And we don't need this. We don't need auto now. We just want to say that each time that the user is created, it join, we wanted to set the date equal to the creations of the instance. So it's going to be true. And this is the fields that are going to be in our user. Next thing that we need to say is username field, and here we are going to set to email. It's going to tell Django for the login you are actually using the email and not the username. So this username field, the username field that we are going for login is going to be the email. Next, we want to add some required fields. That's going to be first name and last name. And now we are going to retrieve our custom user manager, great, in the objects. Now let's place the class meta. Class meta, we're going to create the variable's name to be equal to user and variable's name plural, going to be equal to users, that way. Next, let's define our string definition. So which one is already? Don't need this. Windows self return. We are going to return first name or email. Email, I think the email here makes more sense. So self.email. And now we are going to define one property that is going to basically be a self-made attribute, just to get the full name. Self. Here we're going to return a string that is going to be self.first name space self dot last name. And yeah, this is what we want for our models.py. So now we just have one more two things to do. First, you are going to create a forms. You are also to use also you are going to put our model in the admin here. But first, let's create the forms, and I'm going to explain you why. I'm going to create the forms.py here, and from here, let's import contrib.out forms, import user change form and user creation form. So this is going to be used because if we don't extend this class, what's going to happen? We want in after in on our admin page when our site is going to be active, we want to edit the form of adding and edit in the way that the fields are going to be the same as they are in the model. So this is why we are creating this. So let's create custom user creation form. We are going to inherit from user creation form class meta, again user creation form. And now our model is going to be you forgot something, from dot models import user. Okay, our model is going to be the user. The fields that we want here are the email, the first name, the last name, and I think it's all. And for our class going to be equal to error. Now that we did this, we just have to do the same for the change form that we are going practically to copy paste. So instead of place custom user creation form, we say here change inherit the change, inherit or extend. We extend from the change. And yeah, everything, it's okay here. So now the last step is to the admin. Now we have to personalize our admin page. We don't have, but it's good to do. So from Django dot contrib dot out dot admin, we're going to import user port user admin as base user admin. Next, get x lazy Django dot institution dot utils dot translation import get x lazy as underscore. Next, dot forms that we created. We are going to import our custom creation and change form and the model. Yeah, from dot models import user. So let's create our user admin. Let's user admin. We're going to inherit from base from the user admin, but we are using that name so to not have conflicts. Base user admin. And let's make the ordering. The ordering is going to be equal to the email here. Add form is going to be equal to custom creation form. The form is going to be equal to the custom user change form model the user. This display, we want to display, let me see one thing. Yeah, correct. We're going to display the email, the first name, the last name, and also the other fields, if it's staff, and if it's active. So yeah, I think I don't forget anything. So we're going to now select our clickable link, clickable fields. We want that to be the email. I don't know if I have to put the ID here or not. Let's try that, and we see maybe that in the future. So yeah, so what we need now. Okay, search fields. To have our email, first name and last name, and last name. Save. Now, before registering this, let's also add here the list filter going to be equal to all of. Okay, so now that it's created, we can register it in our admin min.site.register user and user admin like this. Okay, so now that we have everything, that we have our model created, we can now migrate to the database. So let's see if everything is all right. So to migrate is we have to make sure that we're in the backend. So it's going to be Python manage.py make migrations, and let's see this. Okay, and this error happened because we haven't defined in the settings or custom user model. So here I just add the out user model. It's going to be from users here dot user. So you just have to add this, and after you add this, you can actually make the migrations. Okay, now that you made the migrations, we include the field. We're going to do Python manage.py, and we are going to migrate everything to the database. So as you can see, now it's migrated, and let's check out the mid page now. So for checking that mid page, let's go to create a super user manage.py create super user email address. We're going to use here any email that you want. Might be 99 21 things email.com dot com here first name Danny v password is which you want. I put a very weak password because this is we are testing. Is why it's giving me all these um, warnings, but we can bypass it. So I say why. Good. We had no problem to create the super user. So it means that our manager and our model it's actually working. So now let's run the server python manage.py run server. Good, no warnings. Here, let's say here. Okay, let's go to our admin page. It's working well. So let's put here the username, password to be equal to that one that I created. Yes, so now we can see that we have only the authentications and the user, and this is the user that I create. So this is like the filters, all the customizations that we created from the email from the admin here. And if you want to add a new user, okay, there is a problem here. Let me check that again. Okay, so the error here is that Django in the database user means assumer that there is a username, but as I said, we are in 2023. We don't want usernames anymore, but in their field cells, it's assuming there is a username and we are not giving any username. So it's saying, yeah, where is the username? But we don't have. So we have to redefine our field sets in our user admin here so that we can personalize it without adding the username. I really want to avoid that process because I don't think there is too much value on it uh, for the purpose of this tutorial series. But I will put it because we need it for that work. So because this is the typing is very cumbersome, it's like tuples on tuples on tuples. I'm going to just paste the copy from it. You can see that in the GitHub. So here I have like field cells, and this is going reformat the way that's going to be displayed on the admin. So we are going to display login credentials, personal information going to be that one, this username that's giving us problem that we don't want, permission and groups, important dates, blah blah blah. Okay, add field. Yeah, the code is going to be in GitHub. If you want also do the same. And let's refresh. Okay, we click like now, add user. Okay, it's working. Let's say, okay. The genre cannot be specified as it is a non-editable field. A lot of bugs on the. So for what I'm reading from what I see, okay, for correcting that error, we just have to remove this from the tuple. So it's not appearing. So let's check. Let's go back. Let's delete these because nothing was that. Okay, so let's create our user, add user, v1, reset the password. And okay, so now everything was created. We have here, yes, and we just finish to create our user. And that's it. Now we can see that our user was created. Let's create another. I'm going to say that p2, some random passwords, some random passwords here. Let's make it active, that one, save now. And as you can see, yes, you have our user, second user created, and the password here. And to demonstrate you what are the field sets, the field sets are actually that one with the field sets. Where are they? In the admin, we actually personalize that information that's going to be displayed. Okay, this is then coming from the future. I just noticed one bug that I forget to address. So when we are like adding a new a new user in the custom form, you can notice that we don't have the first name, neither the last name here. So this is not what I want. This is what we want is the first email, first name, last name. So the fields that we have to add here is actually have to add here on the field set. So it's going to be a quick fix. First name and last name. We save, refresh, and that's here. We have now the new fields. So let's do again a quick test. Let's say t4 email.com, first name t, t4, t4, is active, save, and yeah, just save, and yeah, it's here. So now we can see there is the first name and the last name. Yeah, this was a quick bug that I forgot to address that before. Okay, so that's it guys for today, for this video. So if you like this video and you think it's useful, like and subscribe, and also give me feedback. I'm trying like to explain some things, uh, some things more in detail than others. Tell me where you feel more lost, or if I'm going too fast or too slow. But yeah, your feedback is appreciated. So see you next time.